Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, for every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, and fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in today. Well, it is the last day of the month. Yes, we are turning the page today, and we do so on a most friendly note because our guest today, you know her very well, an energetic young lady who continues to come to our show each and every month. This month, she's here twice. The original was back at the beginning of the month, way back here on the, actually it was the 3rd of August, but a panicked email that I got over the month said, can I please come back on before the month is up to talk about, now here it is, sprouts. Hey, she wants to talk about sprouts. So Dr. Vavavoom herself, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones, is going to do that with us today, sprouting your way to vitality. The ABCs of sprouts, so she says, from none other than Dr. Susan Smith-Jones. So you're going to want to pay attention today. I'm interested in the topic. It's been a long time since we discussed it. Let's find out what's on her mind and how she can help us sprout our way to vitality. In the course of our discussion with Susan, you want to call in to ask a question or make a comment. That number, of course, as always, will be 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. You'll be sprouting your way to vitality today on this last day of August 2011. Now, we move in the month of September, and then I look into the schedule taking shape. On Friday, we're going to pull it all together. It'll be a get 'em up out of town version of this show into a holiday weekend. By the way, if you got an idea for a show you want to hear on Monday, where we will not be doing a live show, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to just pick one, and you can listen to a golden oldie on Monday after our Get 'em Up Out of Town version show on Friday. Then she'll be back, folks, sort of like a brief interlude. She'll come at you today, and then right after the break, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones is back, promising to talk about spices. Now, last time it was natural remedies, spices that heal. And so we'll have that discussion on the 7th, Wednesday the 7th, with Dr. Susan Smith-Jones. We're still on target at this point for MCG testing for the 8th. If there's any change or any reason, I checked yesterday with Jerry, we are on target at least as it stands right now. If there, it all has to do with the device delivery, and according to him, the company is rapidly trying to work out all the kinks so that we are able to offer the testing on the 8th. But stay tuned. There always can be a change, and I'll let you know. Then as the month moves on, you won't want to forget David Brown's going to be back as we now move out of the summer vacation mode, which he obviously earned and took with his family in August. He's back to talk about salting your way to health, finishing up on his initiation of the topic through one of the books he wrote. I think it was his second, maybe the third, after iodine and thyroid came, salting your way to health. And he literally means it, and if you heard the kickoff to this show, which we conducted the month prior, then you'll be ready to go. Don't feel bad if you haven't, because we'll pick it up in a way that, well, you're never lost here. Okay, we'll bring you right into the stream of things. Then in the week of the 19th, it's going to be 3 shows, 19, 21, and 23. We're going to have Brian Peskin with us. He is a gentleman who's got all the facts, folks. He's a MIT. For some of my listeners out there who are engineers, you know you're a little funny. You're a little different than most. You're a stickler for detail. And after all that I've unveiled to you with respect to this fish oil controversy, you are calling me to task because I want you to with respect to the facts to back it up. Well, the facts are going to come at you hot and furious in the week, rather, of 19, 21, and 23 of September when Brian Peskin joins us, a graduate and electrical engineer from MIT. What does that have to do with fatty acids? We'll let him tell you, but the man, as they say, is clocked pretty high, and he's a stickler. These engineers are sticklers for detail. He's going to bring in the details. You're going to want to pay attention this month when Brian Peskin takes to our airways. Got a couple other guests in the lane. I won't mention them right now because, well, they haven't been inked yet, but I'm anticipating that they'll be with us also in the month of September. So as you can see, and as you've come to expect, a lot of exciting things coming up. The fish oil controversy continues to brew out there. How you all doing with that? Okay? They tell me, because I don't listen to the entire lineup of KHB family members and the host, but evidently you are, and you are calling in, and you're bringing it up to the other hosts here on KHB, and I don't know how they're responding. I'm interested to hear from you on that subject. Maybe Friday's a better day for it. We'll let it go at that for now. Product-wise, 4-to-1 oil, we can't keep enough here in stock since we've unleashed this information about the fatty acids that you require in order to make certain that the membrane integrity, cell membrane integrity, is what it's all about. Anything that needs to go through that door, called the cell membrane, to get into the inside of that cell, can only do so when the integrity of the membrane is maintained. And the maintenance of that membrane, as we now know, and has been unveiled in the last month or two, is you got to supply them with the parent oils, 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. The representative of the omega-6s, linoleic acid, and the parent oil in that category is either primrose oil or sunflower oil. And in the omega-3 category, also having parent oils representing it, alpha-linolenic acid is the chemical name for the substance that you're trying to seek out, and the parent oil in that case is flaxseed oil. This is a ratio of 4-to-1 that you need to maintain, much heavier on the omega-6s than the omega-3s. I think that's also a challenge that we have been told. We've had rammed down our throats. We have continually told, look, our diet is so overladen with omega-6s, we got to have a great source, a potent source of omega-3s. So here's what we're going to give you. We're going to give you fish oil. And we're going to laden you with EPA and DHA, which absolutely, I'm now sure, and as our guests will continue to report, you can't handle, I think Jack Nicholson said it, you can't handle them. You need the parent oils, and 4-to-1 oil is the best way to do it. We've got it on stock here, and we keep on replacing it. We send it out all over the place. Also, F3 is that unique bioengineered algae concentrate coming to you from, well, the mindset of Dr. Michael Kiriak, Soviet scientist, hooks up with Roland Thomas. He comes to our show frequently, was here this past Monday, actually. Roland Thomas continues to describe this excellent supplement. I find it to be one of the few cases where I can actually say this one supplement appears to do it all. The categories of what's contained within these little capsules, which are completely assimilable. There are foods, folks, that come in from algae. They're grown in organic hydroponic ponds in Siberia. Have every single vitamin that you can name. All over 92 natural minerals and trace elements. They're all there. All the essential fatty acids. All thousands of enzymes are there. Mixed carotenoids, nucleic acids, chlorophyll. If there ever was a supplement that needs no addition put to it, I think this is the one. And so we're offering it here. Don't forget also, especially you diabetics, the RTD dressings. We have them here. It would be extremely difficult to find, if at all, in any other venue. If you do have a diabetic in the family, if you are a diabetic, get one of these dressings. Have it in your medicine cabinet. If you ever just get a nick, you as a diabetic in particular would want to use this as a dressing. It's an impregnated material that has antimicrobial substances right in the actual dressing itself, and because of the material it's made, it actually creates sort of a vacuum effect where it pulls microbes from the wound into the actual dressing itself. This, of course, is a new concept. Dressings have been nothing more than that. Dressings, and acting as a barrier to prevent anything from getting into a wound. But up till now, nothing's been, at least in my knowledge, been used to pull microbes from the wound into an antimicrobial source, which is contained and impregnated right into the actual dressing itself. RTD dressings available here. A couple other places available. You can't buy them, but your surgeon will be using them because the hospitals do have this on formulary, a couple of the big ones here in Pittsburgh. Okay. Let's see, that about does it all for now, folks. Let's do this. I'm anxious to get with you-know-who. She should be awaiting our call. I'm going to do just that when we take a short break, and we'll do so. When we come back, we're going to be with Dr. Vavavoom talking about sprouting. That's right, sprouting your way to vitality. Be right back with Susan Smith-Jones.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on a Wednesday version of the show in this very last day of August 2011. Last day maybe, but first in your heart for sure. Second time this month, this particular guest is with us. A panicked email arrived about 2 weeks ago saying, look, I want to bring this topic to your listeners. Do you have an opportunity before the month is up? Sure enough, we found one. We always find the time for this young lady who continues to bring us valuable information concerning our health and how best to do so in the most pleasant and physiologically pleasing way possible. This gorgeous lady is with us today to talk about sprouting your way to vitality. She has always been very vital around here with whatever message she brings. Let's say good morning and welcome her back today. Good morning, Dr. Susan Smith-Jones.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be with you. I mean, where has this year gone? The last day of August, and while I usually don't post my beautiful newsletters on my website until the first day of the month, 3 hours ago, and I'm in Pacific time in Los Angeles, I posted my September newsletter early just for your listeners.
Sometime around 2 a.m. this morning? Is that what you're saying?
I did. I wanted to get it done for your listeners, so I definitely got up early. And everyone get out a pen and paper, because there's some things you'll want to write down today. But start off with, check out my website, SusanSmithJones.com, and right there on the homepage, and in the photo of it, click on September newsletter. And I have lots of material on the topic today of sprouts, growing sprouts, why they're good for you, and how you can reverse aging the sprouts, and how you can grow them pennies in the corner of your kitchen for a few minutes during a week. Everyone, after today's show, I hope, will start growing your own sprouts.
Oh, I'm interested to get into this. I'm going to read something. There's never been anything you've ever sent me preliminarily has captured my attention. Like a couple of things in this particular one. You start off by saying, no one would expect that UFOs and one-night stands would come up in a discussion about growing your own organic food. Now, I want you to make something about, especially that one-night stand. How are you going to work that in today?
Well, you'll definitely find out.
Oh, okay, we're going to find. Okay, you promised. Here's the other thing. Okay, now I never really have met you, but I've certainly been on the website many times, and your gorgeous picture is always there. In looking at you, one thing I never would have assumed is that you're known in America as the Sprout Lady. Now, to me, that just doesn't match up with my images of Susan Smith-Jones. Are you really known as the Sprout Lady? Are you really?
I've done lots of TV talk shows where I demonstrate how easy it is to grow sprouts in any room of your kitchen, but most this in a corner of their kitchen. And I learned about doing this when I was a teenager from my grandmother.
The grandmother did it again.
She did. I know. She was instrumental in my life. And as a result of growing sprouts, being healthy, if anyone's new to listening to us physics, you might not know that I've never taken medication in my life, and it's been over a quarter of a century that I've been sick in any way. So one of the reasons is because I eat fresh, delicious sprouts. And not only do I grow all kinds of sprouts, such as red clover, alfalfa, broccoli sprouts, garbanzos, almonds, and sunflower seeds, but I also grow wheatgrass. And and then I juice my wheatgrass 3 to 4 times a week, and it takes up just a little bit of space in the kitchen. So we'll talk about all that and so much more today.
Okay, define what the heck is, because I'm having a little difficult time. What the heck is a sprout?
All right. Yeah, no, that's a good place to start. Well, first of all, these little remarkable gifts of nature, they're pure, fresh, nutrient-rich, and alive with their vital force intact. And definitely, if you want to be healthy, you want to eat sprouts. I mean, it doesn't take much time to grow them in your kitchen, and if you just don't want to do that or don't have a kitchen, then, you can get them at the supermarket. But I've never found anyone who doesn't like different kinds of sprouts. Dennis, think of it this way. What food can you easily produce and enjoy, whether you're 6 years old, you can grow it, or 96, whether you're a vegan or a carnivore, whether you live in an inner-city high-rise or on an isolated island. What food can be grown indoors with no soil, harvested in 2 to 7 days, and is loved by everyone? Now, what can supply your family with fresh vegetables vegetables year-round, regardless of the season. You don't need to... and by the way, there are different methods, and I've written all about this on my website in the September newsletter. But you can use a glass jar, simple glass jar, or a little tray method where you stack 3 little trays, very inexpensive, on top of each other. But now think about it this way, that in a simple glass jar that requires neither sunlight nor soil, and only literally a few minutes of work spread over 3 to 4 days, you can cultivate about 30 varieties of sprouts. So, in other words, you don't need to toil long and hard, sweating under the summer or the fall sun, defending your crops, insect weeds, and yet you're fully assured that your harvest is organically grown, absolutely fresh, and resoundingly cheap. Literally cheap. So what you do, and these are nature's little miracles. Start with a little small, hard-dried seed. And with a little warm air and water, all of a sudden you watch as new life emerges as if by magic from that dormant seed. And by the way, Dennis, kids love to participate in this process. And then all of a sudden, in 3 to 4 days, depending on what you grow, sometimes 2 days, vibrant with life, bursting with energy, this tiny little seed all of a sudden has extraordinary activity that takes place while growing. And in mere hours, not even time, you just sit there and watch it grow. And it costs you of only pennies. All of a sudden, the delicate shoots proceed and provide you with unbelievable, vital food. Now, I think most people know what alfalfa sprouts are. Would you say, do you know what those are?
Well, I know about alfalfa. I'm not so sure that I know about the sprouts, but so I can get seeds for alfalfa?
Yeah. Now, have you ever had sprouts in a salad? And I've got lots of pictures of them in my September newsletter. But have you ever had any kind of sprouts that have a little tail coming out of them in salads or sandwiches?
Oh, yeah. We had a couple of shows a few years back, and one of our local vendors was a sprouter, or a person that was into sprouts, and so they had lunches they were serving using those sprouts, had a pair of scissors in one hand and piece of bread in the other, and voila, you had something there.
I bet they had sunflower seed sprouts.
They had all kinds of sprouts, and so...
Yeah, exactly. See, you could try this experiment. Let's assume that you think almonds and sunflower seeds are really delicious to your taste buds. So then you take a handful of each one separately, maybe in a glass, and you soak them in filtered water. This starts the process of sprouting, called germination process. So you soak them in filtered water for a half a day or overnight and drain them. And then you could eat them as they are. And if you agree that soaking improves the taste and the digestibility, which you will, welcome to your new life as a gardener and a sprout gourmet. It's literally that simple. See, grains, beans, and seeds are easy to sprout and delectable to eat, and they range in shape and color from the concave lens of the brown lentil to the oblong sphere of a golden alfalfa seed. And everyone knows the mung bean sprouts in Chinese restaurants, right? But you can also sprout rice, and you can sprout broccoli. And why broccoli? And again, I write about this in my September newsletter. Broccoli sprouts, they look like alfalfa sprouts. And they're one of the healthiest foods on the planet. And they're rather expensive in the market and the health store. And you never know, Dennis, if they're fresh. Because we've heard of some problems with mold growing and the sprouts that you buy. That's why I always recommend that people grow them in their homes. But with broccoli sprouts, make them literally pennies. I make a fresh batch twice a week, and they're rich broccoli and broccoli sprouts have a powerful antioxidant in them called sulforaphane, and that helps human cells fight aggression of free radicals. And studies done over the last year at Johns Hopkins University reveals that broccoli sprouts have up to 50 times more anti-cancer chemicals in them than the mature vegetable itself. So if you don't like broccoli, then the broccoli sprouts are perfect. And at another study at that same university, they found that the phytochemicals in broccoli sprouts reduce the risk of breast, stomach, lung, and prostate cancers. And 1/4 cup a day, Dennis, of broccoli sprouts. You can put them on a salad or a sandwich or just eat them out of hand. Reduces the risk of cancer in your body by 50%. I mean, there's so much more I'll tell you about sprouts, but
all right,
definitely check out my September newsletter. And up above in the navigation bar, it says blogs. I have a series of articles on sprouts to show you exactly what to do. And at the very least, if you want to reduce your grocery bills or keep food storage, foods that you might store on hand, lots of people do that. These nuts, seeds, grains take up very little space.
All right, I got some more questions here because I'm a little confused about these. So I get seeds. We're going to ask you about where you get these seeds.
Through the process.
Okay, we get these seeds, and then you say I put them in, immerse them in water, filtered water,
Yes.
overnight or for a number of hours, and then I drain off the water and allow the seeds to dry. They dry, or they're...
Yeah, you drain. Let's say you're using the jar method that has a screen on the top. And by the way, when I do TV shows or other shows, one of the most asked questions I get is, where do I purchase my sprouting seeds and sprouting supplies? In addition to what you just asked, how do you get started? And before I tell you about what to do with those alfalfa seeds, let's talk about where you get seeds first. You could purchase your seeds, the grains, and the beans. Let's say you sprout garbanzo beans. You could get them at a regular supermarket, but the problem is that most beans in this regular supermarket, Dennis, have been irradiated or chemically treated to inhibit sprouting. So if you try sprouting supermarket beans, you're likely to concoct a slimy, soupy mess. And so these dead or dying beans may be low quality for sprouting, but they're still a food nevertheless, and you can use them in... You can still use that in soup. And garden seeds, like sunflower seeds, I know people that have purchased at a nursery, because you know how you get them for birds. Huge bags of sunflower seeds. But you know what? They're seldom edible, because seeds intended for planting are usually treated with fungicides and insecticides, which, if eaten in large quantities, make very sick. You always want to go to a good source, and you always want to buy organic sprouting seeds. And you see, you could sprout everything from lentils, garbanzos, almonds, sunflower, red lentils, French blue, red clover, which is just like alfalfa. And if you went to a nursery and you purchased a huge bag and it didn't sprout well, then you've just bought really expensive bird seed, because that 5 pounds of sunflower seeds is no bargain if it lasts 2 years. And you only want to buy enough seeds that you know you'll sprout within a year, and then you renew that. And then also, let me say to you that that soaking water, we just talked about taking, let's say, an alfalfa seed or a broccoli, little hard seed, and you start the germination process. And in a moment, I'll tell you what happens to the nutritional value just by soaking. But when you soak it, you don't want to throw away that soaking water down the drain, because it's rich in water-soluble vitamins and minerals. So you want to save it. And let's say you're soaking beans, like black beans or garbanzo beans. Now, that bean water is unfit for human consumption if you wish to remain sociable and comfortably silent. But the grain and seed water are ideal ingredients for soups and sauces. So you refrigerate. In other words, you don't waste anything. You refrigerate that soaking water from the broccoli or the alfalfa seed, and if you don't use it immediately, definitely put it in your refrigerator, or it might ferment into near beer, which for some might be a good thing. I'm not sure. But, for example, let's say you're using the simple jar method. You want a wide jar, a wide mouth jar,
Okay.
and a glass jar. And so you soak it, and I usually do it before I go to bed at night. I put the water in, and then in the glass jar, and in the morning, drain it off, and you save the water. And then after that, you want to make sure you've drained all the water out. And I usually just take that jar, put it in my dish drainer at an angle, because you want to make sure all the water has drained out the little screen top that it has. And the screen top needs to have a tight enough mesh so that you don't lose the seeds with the water, the baby with the bath water. And the reason that you want to keep it a little bit on an angle, those seeds, is because you don't want the seeds soaking in extra water that you've left in the jar. So literally in the corner of my kitchen, I might have 3 jars, one with broccoli seeds, one with alfalfa, and maybe one with red clover or French blue lentil seeds. Now, I love that. And then I put a dish towel over it for 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Let's say we're doing alfalfa. And you don't want the sunlight on it, and all you need to do is twice a day, so you can see this is about a 60-second process. You pour in water, and shake it around, and you let the water drain out again. And you put it back on that dish drain at a slight angle, but by now, by the 2nd and 3rd day, you have these little sprouts that are growing. I said before, and I'll say again, kids love to do this process. By the way, I have a 90-year-old, year young, I should say, 90 years young neighbor, Betty, who loves to, she read my book, by the way, my full-color recipe book called Recipes for Health Food. There's a whole chapter all about sprouting and the soaking times and how many times you rinse. In that full-color recipe book that's right there on the homepage of my website. And with the help of her great-grandchildren that are ages 4 through 7, they make sprouts for their huge family. And the kids love to do this. So then on the 3rd day, you take that jar and you place it where it gets light. Not direct sunlight, but just light. And the light makes the alfalfa seeds, the little sprouts that are growing, turn green. It honestly, it's like magic. They turn green, and then within 1 more day of them turning green, you've got beautiful alfalfa sprouts that you only have to rinse twice a day. If it's really hot where you live, if you have a major heat wave, then you might want to rinse them out 3 times a day, which means when you wake up in the morning, and let's say you then leave to go to work all day, then you can rinse again when you get home from work, and then before you go to bed at night. And it literally takes minutes and a few pennies, and the whole quart-sized jar will start from 1 tablespoon of little seed, and the whole jar in 3 to 4 days will be filled with life-giving, raw, delicious alfalfa seeds that have grown into beautiful sprouts. Then here's what I do. Then I pull all the sprouts out of the jar that are now green and beautiful, and then I put them into a big bowl. This is the end process. Oh, and by the way, that one-night stand you wanted to know about.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know you're on the edge of your seat. The one-night stand is when you soak them, the tablespoon of alfalfa seeds overnight. And you keep them right there in the jar, on the kitchen, in the stand. That's the one-night stand.
Oh, play on words.
And then UFOs, where that comes in is when you soak them, you always have a few little seeds that come to the surface, which means they're not perfectly viable, and they're UFOs. I call them unidentified floating objects. And you want to just take those out. And by the way, if you have heavily chlorinated water, you want to boil it for a minute, and then let it cool down so that the chlorine will dissipate out of the water, because I have found that if you have heavily chlorinated water, it makes it difficult to grow the sprouts because it kills them. But, one of the beauties of sprouts is to grow them knowing that you're being good to these foods. You'll become a gardener, and people will be so impressed with you growing your own sprouts in your kitchen, and then you'll thank them knowing they're good. But here's one of the most amazing, miraculous things about sprouts is that the process of growing sprouts increases the nutritional value. In other words, all of the nutritional content increases as you grow them. For example, the vitamin C in sprouted peas. I love sprouted peas. It increases 8-fold in 4 days. The vitamin B complex sprouted wheat increases 6-fold. And vitamin E increases 3-fold in 4 days. And then the nutritional value doesn't stop there, because many different minerals abound in the sprouts and are more easily assimilated in your body. Sprouts are a storehouse of enzymes, and all vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, and grains begin their life with sprouts. So, you see, Dennis, homegrown sprouts are the freshest, most assuredly organic food available, because nothing compares with picking your own food just before you eat them and knowing that they're free from fungicides and insecticides. And when you eat sprouts, you're receiving the plant's peak nutrition. When nature has mobilized all of its nourishment to bring forth a mature plant. And, I fly all the time. I just got back from a trip to New York City where I did media work. And whenever I fly, I take my almonds and I soak them, like we talked about, and I soak them for about 6 to 8 hours, usually overnight, and then I drain them. And what that does is it plumps them up. They get a little bit soft. So anybody concerned about their teeth and biting down on almonds, they are so much tastier and so much better for you when you soak them. And then you can take a handful of those soaked, drained almonds, and let's say you take a cup, and you put them in your blender, and you'll get all of these recipes. My full-color recipe book called Recipes for Healthness. So you put them in the blender with 4 cups of water, and you put it on high speed for 90 seconds, and you have just made raw, delicious almond milk as a beverage. It's not dairy, but it's almond milk. And you could jazz it up with a little bit of vanilla or cinnamon. You could use this as a base for your smoothies. You could use it any way you would use regular dairy milk. And all the almond milk you buy in the stores is always pasteurized. But you could make this literally in 90 seconds, maybe 3 minutes complete with cleaning your blender. I make a fresh batch of almond milk from soaked grained almonds and also soaked sunflower seeds twice a week.
Amazing.
You can tell I'm passionate about this. And
Yes,
I've been
you are.
making sprouts since I was a teenager in my kitchen, and I know it's one of the reasons I'm so healthy. And for over 10 years, just so you know this, I know people are going, okay, I'm intrigued. How do I start? Go to handypantry.com. Now, please know I own no stock in this company, but it's where I've shopped for almost 12 years. It's where I get all of my organic sprouting seeds, because they're always good there, and they're very inexpensive there. It's the best prices I've found in the world. handypantry.com.
That is a wonderful piece of advice and tip. Why don't we do this? Let's take a short break. When we come back, I got a couple of questions that came up in my mind. Folks out there listening, you may have come up with a few on your own. You want to get in on talking to Dr. Susan Smith-Jones before she leaves us this morning on Sprouting Your Way to Vitality. 412-825-6262. We'll be back with Susan in just a moment.
Been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What have you learned of a product 5 years in a formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health here on a Wednesday morning version of the show. It is the last day of the month of August. We're moving into the month of September. We're closing out with, well, the person we started it with. Enthusiastically, Susan Smith-Jones continues to bring us interesting health matters that are one of a kind, no doubt about it. And I think today's show ranks right up there with one of the best we've ever done here in bringing you a new concept that maybe you'll just want to pick up and help yourself to sprout your way to vitality. Susan, you still there with us, my dear?
No, I'm gone.
You're gone. Well,
I'm looking at my UFOs.
Your UFOs, after having undergone a one-night, just emerging from a one-night stand, you only got to bed after 2 o'clock in the morning after you put your newsletter together. So.
Well, I did for your audience. Boy, it took me all month to put it together, but to finalize it, to get it posted, I got up at 2 a.m. this morning, which I'm happy to do that for your audience. And everyone definitely get out a pen now, because I'm going to tell you how to get either my new full-color recipe book. Louise Hay said it's the most beautiful health book on the planet. It has over 150 color photographs, and a whole chapter on how to grow sprouts, every detail you want. And you can get that or my other new book that just came out last month called Walking on Air, your 30-day inside and out rejuvenation makeover. And yes, you could go to Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but if you call this 800 number, which happens to be in your state.
In Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then you can, if you purchase either of those books or both, Best Helpless or Walking on Air or The Joy Factor, you can also get a bonus gift of my popular booklet CD combo called Nature's Medicine Chest. And you can only get this bonus gift with the purchase of the book at this toll-free number. It's 1-800-523-9971. And if you want to learn more about sprouts and you only want one book, definitely get my full-color recipe book called Rest Helpless. And if you have a computer, then definitely look at the home page of my website, SusanSmithJones.com, because you'll see the covers of Walking on Air, Recipes for Helpless, and you can even read excerpts from it in the September newsletter or the Joy Factor. You'll see all of those right there on the home page of my website. And in my September newsletter, I have other specials. By the way, Dennis, in my September newsletter, there is a short music video that will bring tears to your eyes with penguins. There's also a short video of a truck driver who drives all across the United States, and he grows sprouts and wheatgrass in the cab of his truck.
Enough's enough already, my goodness gracious.
I know, and I have two recipes that will absolutely melt fat away on your body. I give you tips on staying motivated to exercise. I give you a mind teaser test to see how smart you are. The joke of the month you'll love. And I also give you information on September 16th. I'm doing a worldwide webinar. It's free. It's a 60-minute webinar that people have already signed up around the world, but it's on surefire tips for easy and lasting weight loss. And that's all in my September newsletter.
You got to tune into it, folks. Hey, we got people begging on the door to come in to talk to you. You don't mind taking questions, do you?
Ooh, I love it.
Come on ahead. You're with Dr. Susan Smith-Jones. What's on your mind? Hello? Oh, they gave up on you. You were talking too much. Hey,
and
please.
Listen, before we take the next one, the reason I encourage you to check out handypantry.com is not only can you get seeds and all your sprouting supplies, and all the seeds are organic, but you can buy these really inexpensive kits, like a sprouting kit for about $24. It comes with either the glass jars or the trays and seeds. You can buy wheatgrass kits, wheatgrass juicers. And I also grow, listen, this is a topic for another time, but I grow little microgreens, little lettuce leaves in my kitchen. It takes up a few inches of space. And you can get these microgreen kits or sprouting kits. Save lots of money at handypantry.com.
Handypantry.com. I've written it down, folks. I hope you have too. You'll want to make sure that these seeds are all organic, and I'm certain that the Handy Pantry folks will make
sure. This is a place you can guarantee to get the best sprouting seeds. And, you know, it's a wonderful family-run business. If you're not sure what seeds to get, their team of experts will answer all your questions. And, by the way, I'll go there right now. If anybody listening doesn't have a computer, let's say you don't have a computer, but you want to start sprouting, here is a separate number, not to get my books, but it's for Handy Pantry. It's toll-free, and it's 1-800-735-0630. That's 1-800-735-0630. And that's Mountain Time. So probably too early to call there now. but you could call later and you could get a sprouting kit for approximately $24-25. Have it in a few days, and before Labor Day, you could have fresh-grown broccoli and alfalfa sprouts growing in your kitchen.
Well, I'm sure if you got a mind to it, Handy Pantry will help out. Thanks for that phone number. Some of our listeners do not have computers, so that was very smart to give them the number, and I'm
That's
sure
what I
that
thought.
they'll
By
pick
the
up
way,
on it.
in my September newsletter, I give you a recipe that has 2 ingredients to make the most delicious cream sauce, and it's not dairy. You don't use milk. You just use cashews and one other ingredient, and you can use this cream sauce in hundreds of ways, and I've got that, and it takes about 70 seconds to make. And you can use it as a dip. You add a couple more things, and a salad dressing, and like you would sour cream, and a dollop on your soup. And I have a soup on my September newsletter that will simple to make, that will absolutely melt fat off your body.
Well, speaking of that kind of a weight loss issue, you had mentioned, and it intrigued me, so maybe our listeners feel the same way, that you're going to be doing a webinar coming up in September. Talk to us a bit about that webinar, because, first of all, people would love to hear about the topic. Also, they'd love to have an opportunity to be able to see you in action. And if you're going to do a 60-minute webinar, that'd be a perfect time to do it. Tell us about this webinar.
Again, it's free. It's going to be 11 o'clock my time. So your time, that's 2 o'clock. And you sign up for it. And
where do you sign up?
You have to go to my website,
okay,
SusanSmithJones.com, and go to the September newsletter. And right there in the introduction box, next to that healthy man, you'll see a picture of this guy walking by the ocean. You click on, it says, please click here. And then it's called Surefire Tips for Easy and Lasting Weight Loss. And it's fun to do this because people tune in from all over the world, all different countries. And if you can't tune in that day, because it's a Friday, then afterwards it will be archived. So, and it's free, doesn't cost any money, and you just have to go to some computer to sign up for it, because then you get the information on how to tune in that day.
All right, so if we go to your website now, you can enroll to become a participant, and then you're going to be given additional instructions in the future about how actually to dial this up on...
Yeah, yes, definitely. And I'll tell you now, it's the 4th paragraph of my newsletter, and in the 3rd paragraph, I tell a story about how I paid for all of my college education. My family couldn't afford it, and so I had many jobs, and one of my jobs was as a lifeguard at UCLA. As an undergraduate and a graduate at UCLA. And, I then taught there for 30 years. And so I have lots of stories about some experiences. And one of them I have right there in my September newsletter about when I was working at this huge Olympic-sized swimming pool as a lifeguard at UCLA.
Well... Now we get images.
More than you wanted to know about.
Well, but now I get Baywatch images coming up. You got to cut it out with the imagery. Or one night stands at Baywatch. Look, the topic today, however, was
sprouts.
It is an interesting one.
Sunflower seed sprouts. There are a couple of sprouts that require soil. One of them is wheatgrass, and you've probably seen the grass that looks like the grass in your yard, and it's a really big thing now, at least in my area, where people can go to a health store and get some wheatgrass juice. Because what's interesting about wheatgrass, and you can go get it in the store, but you can grow it in your kitchen and get a specialized juicer that doesn't cost a lot of money, that's just for wheatgrass. But you see, the grass itself, the wheatgrass, is not digestible in our stomach because it's too full of cellulose and other
Fiber.
Yeah, exactly. But when you juice it and it's strained, then all the nutrients are freed up and available to your body, and wheatgrass filled with chlorophyll and other nutrients in preparation for becoming a big fruitful plant. And studies have found that wheatgrass juice is high in chlorophyll and cleanses the liver, the tissues, the cells, purifies the blood. And in my private practice, now remember, I haven't taken any medication, and I have people that come to me or I go to them around the world, and I help them live a little closer to nature. And I have even used a few drops of grass juice, fresh juice, in the nose to reduce inflamed nasal passages. And it relieves congestion in the nose. You can gargle it as a perfect relief for sore throat. You can use it as a natural mouthwash and a breath deodorizer. It's great for your gums, delicate tissues of your mouth. Now, there's so much you can do with wheatgrass.
All right, let's do this. With a minute or two to go, get us ready because we're going to be back here right after the Labor Day weekend. You're going to be here in the 7th talking about spices that heal. Get us ready for that because we only got about a minute to go. What you're going to be talking to us about with that particular topic?
Yeah, see.
Oh, we got bongas in the background. You won't be able to see. You've talked us too much about the wheatgrass. Folks, you just have to be ready to come on back and visit with us and Susan on the 7th of September. Susan, we got to say goodbye now. Thank you so much for sprouting our vitality today and giving us a lot of tips on how to pick up where you leave off. So, folks, we'll see you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on Friday. We'll open them up. We're going to be talking about fish oils again and give you an opportunity to weigh in. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney with Dr. Susan Smith-Jones saying so long for AM Impact on your health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington